Good evening, gentlemen. Tonight we are gathered here for a new episode of Is It That Bad? And tonight we are talking about a band that needs no introduction. It's Trapt. And the new album is called The Fall. So you know what we do on Is It That Bad? Usually we talk about older albums, but for this episode, we are tackling an album that just came out roughly 24 hours ago or so, give or take. And, this is a band that it's very, has been very controversial because of the lead singer getting in fights with people on the internet. I remember in 2016, he picked a fight with Ice-T, and I think Ice-T would have won. So for this episode, I am joined by Chili from Live Listen Erase. Chili, how are you?
Thank you for having me on board of this episode. I am
Yeah.
so looking forward to it.
Are you feeling headstrong?
I am so headstrong. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and we have again on the channel from Canada, Nick Sino. Nick, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
I'm good. Are you seeing echoes?
I'm seeing echoes, yes.
Finally, in Mexico, we have JC Rock and Metal Reviews. And I forgot trap song, so I'm sorry, JC. I have no more for you. How are you, JC?
Yeah, I'm good. I was actually going to respond to saying I was headstrong, but I guess you already said it. Yeah,
You're headstrong. You can take on
yeah.
any.
I was gonna say that when you introduced me, but you kind of beat me to it. Yeah.
Damn it. So
Yeah.
so we're here to talk about the new album, The Fall, and apparently there was an edition with less songs, but I don't know about you guys, but I listened to the deluxe version because I can't get enough of Trapped.
Oh, yeah.
You need the 15 songs. And when she said, "Oh, there's a shorter version," I'm like, "Where? Where was it? I just had the deluxe edition." So yeah, this is the band's I don't know which album it is, like a number 6 or something like that. And it's the first one, I think, in 4 years. And it's pretty interesting when this band is going to release an album. So the drill, people. We have the 3 rounds. The first round, we give our first impressions of when we listen to this today. Then we'll do round 2 where we pick 3. And I feel safe saying we can pick 4 for this album. We can pick 3 or 4 songs for this album. And the third and final round, we give our final thoughts and we rate it thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down. So today, let's start. We're going to start with Chili. So Chili, your first thoughts, because you listen to this first because you are in the future.
I'm in the future, everyone. So yeah. My first thoughts. Next question. No, I guess I was a bit intrigued about what this band's music sounded like because, I hadn't listened to this band in I don't know how many years. When did Headstrong come out? 2002? Something like that?
They
And
had an album
yeah,
in 1999, but then they had the one that really caught on was in 2002.
yeah, that's the one I'm familiar with, right? So yeah, Headstrong, everyone is familiar with that song. So when you sent me this message and I'm like, man, I'm trapped. I haven't heard that name in ages. I kind of was umming and ahhing about it, and then I went back to listen to the song. And I'm like, you know what, this could be quite interesting to go back and you know find out what they had become in the future. So yeah, like I couldn't really remember what the music was. I couldn't remember them per se, but it was easy to go and listen to this record because they released 10 singles, actually, correction, 11 singles before the album dropped. They released so many freaking singles. I don't know.
I could
So you
only
can
hear
listen.
one.
Yeah, okay, right. There was yeah, okay. Over here in the future land, we had 11 singles released leading up to this one. So I don't know, maybe people in Puerto Rico or otherwise can say if they only
We
had
were
one or two.
spared.
Yeah, you were spared the joys of what is trapped. You You guys weren't led into a trap for this one. So yeah, like it was 11 singles, and I'm like, man, I can listen to pretty much the entire. What's left? There's 11 singles.
The
What's left of
deluxe.
the album? Yeah, the deluxe edition. Thank you. So I go over and listen to the deluxe edition. You know, I decided to wait until that came out. So yeah, I listened to that one, and I even delayed listening to Shellac, you know, for this record because I knew it was such an important one to discuss. So I'm going to leave it at that point right now because otherwise we're going to ruin what's ahead.
Yeah. So, what about you, Nick, man? Your first impressions?
Well, I only know one Trap song. I never even listened to a full album before this one, so I know Headstrong just like everybody else. But I always considered Trap to be one of those, like one of the worst of the bands of that, or the early 2000s crop of new metal bands. There was like a lot of bad bands during that period, but I felt like Trapped, even at the time, I thought Headstrong was a really, really bad song. And I
They
like to
make
think,
Nickelback look good.
yeah, exactly. Like, and I think Nickelback actually is better than Trapped. I think I'm gonna go out there and say that. I don't want to say
I
Nickelback's better
agree.
than anybody, but the thing is, like, I like to think I'm pretty open-minded because on my channel, I always think I'm too soft on bands. Like, when I review albums, I always feel like, oh, I liked it. I thought it was really good. But with Trapped, it's an all new level of bad. When you listen to this record, and the thing that when I was listening to this album, it reminded me of like a really bad band at a really bad high school battle of the bands, just sounding, trying to do their best to play some riffs and sound cool, but it doesn't really work. And then a lot of the song titles on here, it bothers me when you have such generic song titles: Meant to
Oh, yeah.
Be, Think of You, Home,
Mm.
Halo, Bulletproof. Like, these are song titles that are on every album ever. And I gotta say, Hector, I am kind of mad at you for making us listen to this record. When I went on to Spotify and realized that it had the 15 tracks on there, I'm like, oh my God, So that was it was definitely it was a
Yeah, thanks,
listening
Hector.
experience. Yeah. So we all had to
We
go
are
through something
doing,
today.
we're providing a public service for people. We're taking one for the team so you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say, yeah, I didn't really enjoy this record though. Those are my kind of first initial thoughts. Not a huge fan of it, but yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah. What about you, JC?
Yeah, I'm like Nick. I knew Headstrong. I've never listened to this band before. I think of them, they were like one of those bands that like had like one song, like those bands like Cold or Hinder with like Lips of an Angel, like those types of bands, they had like one song.
But yeah, but that's a good
But
song.
it was what?
That
With
Hinder
Lips,
song is great.
oh, Lips of an Angel,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a good one. But anyway, it's I felt they were like trying for a very like broad audience where they're trying to I thought it was very simple, like Nick said. The lyrics are pretty basic. The song titles are basic, and they're trying like to do like a little of everything. Like some of it sounds like grunge, some of it sounds like pop, some of it sounds like that 2000s rock, and so it's yeah, that's kind of what I got from it. Like I didn't really, I felt like they were just like trying to do a lot of things, but I felt they didn't really like spend a lot of time like writing the songs. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
all I'll say for now. Yeah.
So my initial thoughts, I don't know, when I was listening to this record, it's called The Fall, and like every song, I think the singer what's his name? Chris Brown?
Chris Taylor Brown.
Chris Taylor Brown. I think it sounds like a self-motivation tape. Like he's saying, Chris, everybody loves you. You're great.
Yeah.
You're bulletproof. I still cannot kick your ass. You can go out there, you're headstrong. You can take on anyone. Like a lot of the songs is like it's almost like this. He's like saying the same things over and over again because you have like bulletproof, above it all, when I get better. Like everything
Oh
is
God,
like
yeah.
it's like you think it's like him trying to convince himself that this doesn't suck. Like that's what I felt like when I was listening to this record. I'm like, oh my God, like he's saying the same thing over and over. And yeah, there's some of the lyrics on round two. I'll be more deep with the lyrics, but there's some of the lyrics here that there's one that I thought that it was awesome because we had a YouTube album that we talked about, like a love song that was lazy, but oh my God, on this album there's a more lazy love song
Oh,
that
yeah.
beat YouTube, and I'll talk to that in a second round. But yeah, the first here in Puerto Rico, we just got I saw one single on Spotify, and it was Home. Uh, and at first I thought maybe it's a cover from Stained, but no. And we had like he had like teasers, like he had teasers for every track, like teasers. I'm like,
Mm.
okay, apparently someone wants to be teased. So yeah, yeah, it was like I remember listening to this morning, and I was thinking like, oh my God, they're all they're gonna hate me for making them listen to this, but someone
Oh,
had to
yeah.
do it. It was made for this episode. So yeah, that's my first initial thought. So let's go to round number 2, where we pick tracks, and uh I'm going out on a limb here, but I think,
Mm.
does everyone agree that we can pick 4 tracks?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's unanimous. We can pick 4 tracks. So
Mm.
Chili, your 4 tracks.
Is it the morning coffee or trap that gave you that morning movement that you had? Because, like, I swear it's going to be this album, isn't it? Let's go with the tracks that are just horrendous, hey? So I want to start with Think of You. I don't buy the message that has been relayed on this song. You know, knowing his history and all, I don't believe the shit that he is saying on this track at all, especially at face value. He's just discerning this to a basic kind of level, trying to hit the right notes, hit the market audience or some shit like that. And it's like he asked ChatGPT to write some love ballad lyrics for him to sing. And that's what I think about when I'm thinking of you. Fuck you, Chris. Anyway, you know, where I think of you, I don't no, sorry, when I think of you, I don't think about myself. Oh, wow, such deep lyrics. Fuck out of here. Come on, man. It's a weak song and it's weak delivery. Absolutely putrid piece of petri dish there. So the next one I want to mention is Halo. Here we go. I need your hey, low, oh. What the hell was that, man? That
I thought it
goddamn.
was gonna song about the Halo from Xbox, but no.
Gosh, if only it was, huh? You know, that lyric, I can't believe that actually made it onto the song. I mean, I need the strength of whiskey to get me through this track. It's just, ugh. I mean, how many people had heard this song and said, "Yep, that's a good track. That's a really solid line. I love this. Let's put it out there for the world to listen." I just don't I don't understand how. You know, there must be some guardian angel looking over this track because wow, it deserved to be on the cutting room floor. Bulletproof, hey? So I think I'm going to see a common thread here and everyone's going to pick Bulletproof. I'm calling it right now. I've seen Reddit posts asking why people hate Trapped. And people, I say this because, you know, Chris Brown has, of course, outspoken politics, but that has a thing to do with it. But on the other hand, this song is what you should point at for the other side of the answer. You know, how does anyone listen to this song and think, "Oh my God, so inspirational"? It's cliche lyrics. It's dumb riffs. It's just what is the band? You know, what are they doing here? I think my favorite line out of this one had to be, "You don't have to run from the violence when you're invincible. You don't have to run from it all when you're bulletproof." I dare to sing. I'm not gonna say that line because that'll probably get you demonetized from YouTube. But anyway, that was a bad joke. Yes, it's a simile, but it's contrived and a moot point from the band camp. Especially when you see Chris had to apologize numerous times for his actions on social media. I guess you aren't really bulletproof, are you, Chris? And I just want to mention 3 quick ones because I know you said 4, but just one-liners. Safe Here in the Shade. It's a knockoff of every 90s alt rock band ever. When I Get Better. No, you won't, Chris. You won't get better. You can't dig up and can't look away. It just sounds like an Alice in Chains knockoff song. That's it.
You said your piece, man.
I
So
am pissed.
so Nick, you don't need to be the nice guy anymore. Like,
Yeah,
we ripped Lenny Kravitz.
I know. Yeah, I know. We've set the precedent now. I
And
can
I also said something erroneous in your review. I said that Lenny Kravitz was in bed with 2 women, and lo and behold, I just read today that he hasn't had sex in 9 years.
I
And I'm
know.
like,
We just did
why,
the
Lenny?
research. I know.
Why do you do that to yourself?
I
So
know.
this is a safe space to say what you really feel about Trapt.
Tell us what
Okay,
you
yeah.
really feel.
Yeah, no, this is just bad in every absolute way. Right from the first is it the first track? Is it Try It First, or that's one of
Yeah.
the first tracks on there?
Something like that.
And the thing with Trapped is that it's been 20 years since the early 2000s when they came out with Headstrong and they came out with that record, and they haven't progressed at all with their songwriting or their production. It immediately brought me back to 2002, and it sounded like it was recorded in some sort of shitty basement studio. Like when I was back in the day when, you know, we'd be playing in our first bands, we would play in the worst clubs with the worst amps and, you know, writing the worst songs. And Trapped, even though they're probably what, in their 40s or 50s, they sound like they're a band that just started playing in their garage last week. The songwriting is atrocious. They can't write a song to save their life. There are some okay songs on here, but not a lot of them. The vocals are bad, and that's the thing with this guy. It was Chris Taylor Brown is his name.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to be a bad singer, but when you're a bad singer and you're a big dick, it's like that's just a really
He
bad
gives other Chris
combination.
Browns a good name, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know, exactly. So and then with this song, Try It First, I'm like, what exactly does he want to try at first? Like, what is he getting at here? You know, like, it won't be so bad if you try it first. I'm
Yeah,
like, what is he wanting us to try here?
yeah, he'll be like, hey, this is cocaine. How do you know it's bad if you don't try it first?
Try this
exactly.
album. It's not that bad.
Yeah, try it
Emphasis on
first.
that.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought when I'm like, oh my God, he's making it too easy. The first song, it's like, please listen to my album.
It's called The Fall for a reason.
Yeah. So he just wants us to try it first. Just give it a try. And so we gave it a try, and right from the get-go, it was bad. Meant to Be, aside from the generic song title, it was make me wonder, is it 2024 or is it 2002? I have no idea. It feels like I'm just listening to the same thing. And the thing that really bothered me too is like the production is really lifeless and boring, even on the songs that are meant to rock. It sounds so lifeless. It sounds so like they didn't put any energy into it. The drums aren't even in time. There's some drum fills on here that are absolutely atrocious. They are not even in time. And it just gives you that cringe factor, because I remember back in the day when I would record songs with my band, if my drummer made a mistake, I would just sit there and it would bother the hell out of me. And that's the exact same feeling I got when I was listening to that song.
What is time, man? Time is so constrained, you know, like come on.
We don't need click tracks or anything like that. We can just do it live in the studio. It's not a big deal.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Think of You is another bad song. It didn't have like a completely bad vibe to it, but it really just still sucked to me. And the thing about it is like I was saying, the production is really, really weird. Like some of the songs have really punchy modern production where the vocals are really glossy. And then they have these songs that sound exactly like something that would come out back in 2002 or 2003. So it sounds like it was recorded on an old Mac back in the day. And then some stuff sounds more modern. So that was a really, really weird track for me. And then I guess, yeah, Safe Here in the Saddle. Safe Here in the Shade, sorry, was another track that I didn't really like. This is kind of reminding me of the Alien Ant Farm album when we reviewed that. It's like, these guys aren't songwriters. You know, they're not. When you think about great bands and great songwriters, you wouldn't think of these guys as songwriters. They're just a bunch of guys who are in a band and know how to play instruments.
Barely musicians.
Yeah, they're barely musicians. They can barely play. And when you listen to a lot of the songs on this record, there's just like, there's no reason for these guys to still exist. So this is a band that should have faded into obscurity a very, very long time ago. And then this one actually had a decent guitar solo on there. It was okay. But there wasn't even a lot of that going on. There wasn't any great solos. There wasn't any memorable riffs, and everything just started to blend together. So those are the ones that were especially bad for me.
Okay, fair enough. What about you, JC?
First one is going to be Meant to Be. For me, it sounded just like they're trying to do Alice in Chains. Like they're going for that sound. It's like slower and darker. Like the guitar playing sounds like they're trying to like copy Jerry Cantrell. That's kind of like what I got from it. Like they're doing something from like a Jar of Flies type of album. And I have the lyrics on my screen because a lot of these like don't really make sense, because he's like, I've been screaming out your name, but you don't hear me. I've been holding out my hand to out of reach in the chorus. It's like, I guess it's all meant to be. It's like it doesn't really like mean anything. So that's my first one. My second one is Home. It's like country rock, but he's trying to do like country rock and Bon Jovi. Like they have like the slide guitar and all that. And then like let me pull up the lyrics. It's like it kind of sounds like a country song. It's like in the
Take
home
me
you made
home.
for me, I know I belong here. I know I belong here. I mean, he's basically repeating himself 3 times in the chorus. My real life with you is like a dream. You've taken care of every fantasy. I mean, these are just like such like generic lyrics. So that's my second one. My third one is Safe Here in the Shade. This one was weird because like the first line he sings hey, why don't we go? And I'm thinking like, where have I heard that before? I had to like look it up, and I'm like, yeah, that's like Brown
A
Eyed Girl by
Silverchair
Van
song.
Morrison.
There's a
What?
Silverchair song that says something about the shade in the first album in Frogstone.
Oh, no, I was thinking of Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison. That's an older song,
Oh,
but that's what I got from it. But then the songs kind of sounds like they're going for this like 90s indie rock or like
Oh yeah,
REM, like that type of sound. And
something.
that one, like the lyrics was like, hey, why don't we go try and escape this inferno? The chaos is coming close. And then like the chorus is like when the storm is coming, I come running to keep you all sheltered from the rain. So it's kind of like just boring lyrics. And my number 4 is the one that everyone predicted, Bulletproof. Another one is like I thought that they were like trying to be Alice in Chains again. Like it's just
There's a
had
bit
that
of that.
type of sound. And uh and the lyrics, it's like those like motivational lyrics. You don't have to hide from the violence when you're invincible. You don't have to run from it
Yeah.
all when you're bulletproof. You can always handle a crisis when you're unbreakable. No one's going to do you harm when you're bulletproof. So yeah, this is like
Emotional.
the like motivational the speaker song. So well, I don't know. That's it, and those are my 4. So
good,
Good
good
choice.
picks, man. So I think that leaves me. So I'm gonna first start with Think of You. Remember that I said there was a love song that was more lazy than that YouTube Bono, where it was like a love
yeah,
for someone. It's this one. When I think of you, I don't
Think of
think
you.
about myself. And it says like the same fucking thing for like the whole song. It felt like it felt like my son, who's almost at kindergarten, wrote this for his for the girl, like when I think of you, I don't want to give you my candy. It's just so juvenile, and I'm like, oh my god, he's saying the same thing over and over again. I think the song has like 2 more different lines, but it's like almost when I think of you, I don't
Mm.
think about myself. And I'm like, oh my god, this is like the corniest love song and laziest love song ever.
Oh yeah.
It's just so bad, and yeah, it's atrocious. My second pick is Home because it sounds like the type of song that you would listen to when you're in a Cracker Barrel.
Take me
it's,
home.
it's the soundtrack to a Cracker Barrel, like the redneck anthem of the world. And it's called. And there's a line. It's like you make a house become a home. I'm like,
Oh.
ah. I'm like, ah, so sweet. You make a house become a home. And then at the end, he's like, please. It's like divorce that rock. Like this is the type of song that he's playing to her so she won't leave him. I'm like, I don't want to pay no alimony. it's, it's bad. And he said, JC said Bon Jovi, but oh my God, like no, like Bon Jovi is gold compared to this. This is just an atrocious like country ballad, and it's just bad. So
Mm.
Bulletproof, yeah.
Yeah.
Bulletproof is just it's just so easy to make fun of you when you
Oh yeah.
when you write a song called Bulletproof and you are bitching and complaining on the internet about you're fighting if someone says that like Trapt is hard. Said no one ever. Like there's nothing hard about you, man. And like when he I don't know how the beef started with Ice-T in 2016, but I was thinking like, does this guy know who Ice-T is? like,
Yeah,
like he
yeah,
wrote Cop Killer, man.
yeah,
Like he's in Body Count. He's going to kick your ass. Like,
yeah.
so I thought that was
Bonafide gangster will kill you, man.
yeah, like I love Ice-T, and I would be like
Yeah,
Ice-T, kick this dude's ass because it's
please.
just so it's just so bad. And then there's so many bad tracks here because I would say try it first because it's so funny that they start the album with a song that's basically saying like how it's basically saying how do you know this is shit if you're not going to listen to it. And I was just laughing when I put this album this morning, and that's the first thing that I hear. I'm like, oh my god, he's basically if you're saying to someone, please listen to my record, you know it's shit. Like so, please try it first. And I thought like, God, this could be like funny, like someone like, hey, here's some cocaine. No, I don't want it. How do you know if you hadn't tried it first? Like it's just an atrocious song. And honorable mention, Above It All. And I saw like the music video for it. Oh, like
Oh,
he's dancing, and yeah, it's just, and above it all, it's like also like it's like a bulletproof part two. He's like, I'm above it all, nothing can hurt me, like I'm
oh yeah.
entrapped, we're trapped is forever. So yeah, we pick tracks. Now we're going to the third and final round where we're going to give it our last thoughts, and we're gonna say thumbs up, thumbs down, or sideways.
Yeah.
So, Shili, your final thoughts on this one?
Ah, here we go. Chris Brown, what a frontman. He epitomizes a ruptured sewage line so well. Chris Brown said that this album was about embracing powerlessness and being humble. Yeah, I know, that's a pretty big joke, surely. Now, that's rich considering that 4 years ago he called Trap's album Shadow Work the top 5 albums of all time. You know, I suppose the meds wore off since then because he's been humbled by this whole experience. I guess after also being banned from Twitter and Facebook, he is now powerless and forced to be in that humbled state of mind. It's also interesting, especially because that top 5 albums of all times that he just mentioned only sold 600 units, and that is a stat. You can look that up. So yeah, Shadow Work only sold 600 albums. He would say otherwise. He would tell you, no, it was 4,000, but he didn't have any evidence to, tell
Oh,
us
that was the
otherwise.
last. I remember that the last album he said, and he had no evidence to
He
back
has
up
no
that.
evidence to back it up. It sold thousands. No, it didn't, mate. It sold 600 units. It's quite the funniest thing ever. Actually, just a side note here, if you were to jump over to Rate Your Music and check out the reviews, this album sits at 0.94. That's Shadow Work, sorry, I should mention. Yeah. So that is a really low score for any kind of record. So when it comes to this record, is it going to be a thumbs up? Is it going to be a thumbs sideways, or is it going to be a thumbs down? Hmm. Yeah, it's a thumbs down, definitely, because it's a stupid album and it's practice of banality. In fact, here is a list of things I would rather do than listen to this album again. I would rather walk across the Sahara Desert in my underwear. I'd rather feed a pack of ravenous effect. I would rather feed a pack of rabies infected dogs. I would rather drive through Vietnam on a Harley Davidson bike painted in the American flag, blaring Bruce Springsteen's Born in the US of A. I would rather stick my ding dong in a mincemeat grinder. I would rather listen to Nickelback. Hector, this album right here is the pinnacle of the Is It That Bad series. And, until we cover the album by Thor, that new release they did earlier, I would also implore that listeners also comment to Hector and pressure him to do that. I would say this is probably the worst album I've ever been a part of. So, listeners, please comment and tell us what you would rather do than listen to this album.
Good. You sum it up really well. So, what about you, Nick?
Well, I'm usually the guy who's defending the new music by shitty older bands, but I can't defend this. And like, I don't know what was worse, this or the Alien Ant Farm one. I'm inclined to say
I
that
like
this
the
one
Alien
was
Ant
worse.
Farm one better.
Yeah, I think so. And obviously the
Mm.
singer of Alien Ant Farm, from what I can tell, he's a decent human being, unlike the singer of Trapt, who's a complete asshole. So that's that
Mhm.
he's got them on that. So the thing that I was thinking about this is that there's no reason for this music to exist at all.
Yes.
It's unnecessary.
We are
It's
going to
bad.
erase it.
Yeah, it's just like, why does this have to exist at all? It's just a waste of studio time. It's a waste of any of the resources that they tossed into this. And the thing is, like 15 songs of Trapped, like they are a 10-song max per album, like band. They cannot be any more than that. This was a harrowing music experience to listen to this for 50, almost an hour's worth of Trapped. So that was
It's
a
a
lot to
Thank
trap.
you.
take in.
You're welcome.
It's a trap. Yeah, thank you, Hector.
It's a trap. It's
And the
always-
thing is, like, when you think about it, like the music is like surprisingly lame and harmless for a singer who is so outspoken and outwardly horrible to everybody on social media. Like you'd think he'd be making something that like has a little bit more bite to it, but it's pretty harmless
Mm.
overall. It's just really generic rock music,
It's
and it doesn't really.
vanilla.
Yeah, it's very vanilla,
Vanilla as
no
vanilla
punch,
comes.
nothing like in the songwriting that makes you like. There are some, I guess, if you're saying you're cluing into the lyrics where he's speaking maybe about his being ostracized or being put in the spotlight because of all the horrible things that he's done, but it's like it's just there's no power to the songs that he's writing. So even if you didn't know anything about his politics, you'd be like, these are just generic songs in general. So I'm just, for me, this album from Trapped is a huge thumbs down
It's a
all the way,
fall.
as all the way, the fall all the way down, all as far as low as I can go on this one.
But boy, you were listening to Lenny Kravitz right now, don't you?
Although that's, what, that's second half of that Lenny Kravitz album, I'm not sure if I'd want to listen to that again either.
It's
So
better than Trap, let me tell you this.
yeah, for sure, definitely
So
much better
yeah.
message.
So so far we have two thumbs down. So what about you, JC?
I think it's the type of album that like I don't really have any desire to like listen to it again because there's like nothing here. Like usually when we do these albums and I might pick out a couple songs and like, yeah, I like this. I'll throw this one on a playlist or maybe I'll save it. I'll give it like maybe a thumb sideways or another. But I mean here it's like I don't even like hate it. It's just like there's like really like nothing here. Like if I'm gonna listen to music, there's a world of other music to listen to, and like I don't really see any other reason to put on this album or listen to this music because like for everything he's trying to do, like there's a better band doing it, and it's just I'd rather listen to that. So for that reason, it's a thumbs down for me. I just really don't see any reason to go back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, good one. So what will I do? Thumbs down. I'm sorry, this album is just atrocious. When I was listening to this today on repeat, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to fuck up my Spotify algorithm. like, like
That was your
they
biggest
already-
concern?
it's gonna like, you like trap, now listen to this. I'm like, oh no, nah. I had to put some other stuff. I'm like, no, it's really
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna ruin it. And I plan of not listening to this album for the rest of the year. It may make my top 5 or 10 worst albums of the year.
Oh,
Because I
don't.
think, yeah, this is it's a bad album. The lyrics are bad, the music is subpar, and it's just like so lame. Like the whole thing about him complaining, it's
Mm.
very lame. So yeah, thumbs down. So there you have it. Or four of us have voted this in the trash. So the Fall by Trap sucks. So I want to thank my panel. First of all, live listening erase. I want to say to you, when I think of you, I don't think about myself. Thank you for joining this episode.
When I
Now,
think of you, I'm going to remember Trapped.
now I'm going to Nick. Nick, you make my house feel like a home. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Trapped.
Oh, my pleasure.
And finally, JC, you are my halo. Hey, 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 low, 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 low. Thank you for taking some time and listening to this album today.
Oh man.
JC's like he's just giving me the stare, like you make me take time off to listen to this crap. So yeah, you know, we want to know from you, Couchers, what did you think of this album? And please, I implore you, like tag the band. I want the band to.
Tag them.
I would love to engage in an internet battle with Chris. And I actually think I could take him in person. so I wouldn't be and I would tell him like I know Ice-T. I don't, but yeah, like so yeah. This album is just atrocious. So this weekend we have 2 episodes. Next on Sunday we're gonna talk about an album that was released in 1999, and it's the Bloodhound Gang with "Hooray for Boobies." And I don't know about you guys, but I would rather be listening to this album than Trap. So join us for this
Hooray for
episode.
Trapped.
Yeah, it's going to be the same panel. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Is It That Bad? Thank you and goodbye.